Better your beat with a leadless life by using the Micra Transcatheter Pacing System.
Are you tangled up with the amount of pacemaker options out there? With over 3 million people relying on this medical device, you wonder which one they chose. But what they don't tell you is that 6.4% of them die from device complications. That's 192,000 people. Now, you don't have to worry with the Micra Transcatheter Pacing System. This state-of-the-art pacemaker is designed to have no more stubborn wires coming out of it. I know you might have some hesitation, so why listen to us? Ultimately, you should listen to your heart, but we are dedicated to give you and your heart the break it needs. Our pacemaker is even made into the size of a pill, which is already supposed to go in your body, not some bulky piece of metal. Trust us that we won't skip a beat to give in what you deserve.
The problems we are addressing are arrhythmias, which are abnormal heart rhythms caused by coronary artery disease, electrolyte imbalances, or damages to the heart muscle. Pacemakers work by detecting arrhythmias and, in response, sending electrical signals to the heart to restore normal heart rhythm. There are a few different pacemaker brands out there, but Micra has an edge on the competition because our pacemakers are leadless. Because of this, the pacemaker is completely self-contained within the heart and eliminates the potential for complications due to a chest incision or wires running from the pacemaker to the heart. Because of the miniature nature of the Micra pacemaker, there are no noticeable bumps or incisions where the pacemaker sits in the body. The one other leadless pacemaker out there is the NanoStem, which is made by St. Jude. It functions the same, but the Micra pacemaker is more compact and less intrusive. As for pacemakers with leads, we at Medtronic have found that compared to patients with conventional pacing systems who experienced 51% more major complications, Micra patients endured none.
The regulatory landscape is something important to evaluate when looking at our device. Since our device is an implantable pacemaker, it is considered a Class 3 device and must meet pre-market approval with clinical data in support. The first step of getting FDA regulation is preclinical research. We must first do benchtop testing, followed by animal testing, to get the IRB's support. After that, we must pass and submit investigational device exemption so that clinical trials can begin. The second step is clinical studies. First, we will conduct a pilot study, followed by a feasibility study to gain safety and effectiveness data with approximately 10 to 40 patients. This will then be followed up with a pivotal study that shows primarily clinical support for marketing, with statistical support to show that the safety and effectiveness of the pacemaker is true. The third step of getting FDA approval is getting pre-market approval. First, we'll submit this pre-market approval form and then wait for some time until we get it. Next, we will be reviewed by the FDA, and finally, we'll conduct a post-market trial. With respect to the reimbursement landscape, there are two different types of codes that apply to the implantable leadless pacemaker. The first type of code is diagnostic codes. These include cardiac resynchronization therapy pacemaker, pacemaker adjustments, checking and testing pulse generator, and adjustment and management of other parts. Regarding procedural codes, we must evaluate lead insertion codes, parts removal codes, and radiological supervision or interpretation codes.
The business model for the pacemaker consists of partners, channels, cost structure, and revenue streams. By partnering with research organizations, medical device manufacturers, nonprofits, and technology companies, the funds and resources to manufacture will be met. Channels for funding and advertisement will be acquired through online advertisements, the news, and social media. And the bulk of the cost of the pacemaker is from the development and research necessities. This includes supplies, manufacturing facilities, and maintenance. Also, the revenue streams include selling to the hospitals and medical device manufacturers.
Our device could bring great value to the healthcare market. Previously used pacemakers contained 3 leads, making for a somewhat large and bulky device. The uniqueness of our device is attributed to the absence of leads, which has proven to be beneficial to our customers. This eliminates potential complications associated with leads, such as lead dislodgement or lead fracture, among other complications. The method of implantation for this device is less invasive than the implantation for typical pacemakers. This device is implanted using a transcatheter approach and has a high implantation success rate of about 96.4%. Due to this less invasive implantation approach, recovery time is significantly reduced. Retrieval of the device also results in lower complication rate than that of the typical 3-lead pacemaker. This picture shows a significant difference in size of the 3-lead device compared to the leadless device. Both devices are placed next to a penny for scale. At the end of the day, the cost to produce our device can be broken down into two brackets: the developmental costs and the FDA-related costs. We plan on working with national governmental organizations such as the NIH or CDC to fund concept development and preclinical research. When successful, we plan on selling the IP rights to a company for the cost of clinical unit development. Furthermore, we look forward to using local governmental aid and university funding for IDE submission and PMA approval. We also want to work with foreign clinical data to reduce the cost of clinical research by 30 to 50%. And we plan on doing this, but cost is still extremely high and PMA approval is dependent on statistical support from clinical data. Therefore, we're asking you to cover our clinical trial costs so that we can successfully get the PMA approval so that we can further investigate the device post-market and help save many lives. At the end of the day, our total cost $94 million, and we are asking you to fund us with $49 million.